Welcome everybody to Grumpy Old Men. My name's Tim Newton, and with me is a man that's got 3 E's in his name.
Not by plan. I had nothing to do with that. Steve Ross.
Would you like to buy a vowel?
Apparently I have so many vowels, people comment on it every week.
So no one's ever going to win on Wheel of Fortune. So I've got a wave or something when we're ready for our... now Kun Fluke has seen me. Can you tell us where we are? He knows.
Where we are in the Makai coffee shop on the main street in Mueang, Turtle Beach.
Makai or Makai?
Makai.
Which means?
To come from far away. In central Thai it would be Makai, but down here they swallow the R, so it's Kai, Makai. And there's also, Kun Fluke, who owns this place, spent some time in Hawaii. And there is some Hawaiian connection to that phrase, so it has several resonances depending on the audience. But for here in Turtle Beach, it is Makai, to have come a long way. And this building was his grandfather's tin warehouse 100 years ago. And he completely dismantled the whole thing. Kun Fluke went to college in Taiwan, tore the whole place down to the bones, and rebuilt it as a coffee shop. It's gorgeous.
So this is your... concoction. Thank you.
This is just a caramel latte, but it's served in a glass with a metal straw because they know my feelings about plastic. So they very kindly provide for me
this is
plastic-free coffee.
You'd sort of describe this as a bit of a sort of a yuppie cafe, really, wouldn't you? It's got little Instagram locations. It's very funky. They've got bright young music. Sort of something that's been recorded in the past 10 years.
Bright young people.
Young people.
2 old guys sitting in a corner.
You introduced me, you said, when I was looking at a place to live here, you said, go and talk to Fluke. He's the guy with the amazing hair. I went, okay. So I walked in and I said to this guy, I said, are you the guy with the amazing hair? And he knew it was you. Oh, thank you very much. Come and say hello, Kun Fluke. Come around here. Come and wave to everybody.
Okay. This is Kun Fluke. He owns the Makai coffee shop on the main street in Mueang.
So if you come in and you ask for Kun Fluke, he'll give you 50% discount.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go to Steve's house.
Yeah, at my house you get 50%.
Thank you, Kun Fluke. That's the youngest person we've had on Grumpy Old Men. He's just a couple of years younger than me. Yeah. We've also got some other special guests today.
Yay,
we've got these turtles, because we are on what Steve's called, or renamed, Turtle Beach. We've advised the authorities of the change.
Yeah, it'll be on the new maps coming out. The government's printing, with the new government, they're printing new maps, and this will be Turtle Beach on the new maps.
So I've got 3 of these, and they come from... What are you doing? Yes,
Reminding myself
look at
to
the
look
camera.
at...
Stop looking at yourself. So I've got 3 of these. This is the biggest one and the smallest one. And I was going to sort of do them up on the wall, like, the ducks on the wall.
Sure.
Because they're fairly light. I thought they might stick.
They're very light. That's why I asked if they were carved out of wood. They're light enough to be cast in polymer of some kind. But they are wood.
Yeah.
I tasted one. They're wood.
Yes. And the blue doesn't taste very good, does it?
No.
So you're having a caramel something. I'm having a chocolate something.
Yeah, drink, Bobby, drink. And then you'll tell us all about your the work you've done on your new houses, your new beach houses.
A lot of work, and today, for the very first time, I'm going to take a couple of photos, because I'm having to get, as all the preparations, like my website done, I have to get the Airbnb done. What's wrong?
It's a 100-year-old table and it's shaped. The wood of this table is made
I have to remind you, don't touch the table?
Yeah, we're getting T-shirts made that say, Steve, don't touch the table. This table I thought would be rock solid because it's huge and heavy, but the wood is 100 years old. This is wood that could not be reclaimed for the building.
But makes a great table.
He's made it into furniture. He's also got apartments out back. He's furnished with handmade wooden stuff. But anyway, yeah, I'm not here to pimp my friend's bungalows.
So, well, not when I'm offering my own accommodation.
Right, yeah.
So we are going to take some photos, because I've got to put something on those damn Airbnb, because it's all about photos these days. If you don't have the right photo. So the main photo is going to be me lounging on the sofa at the front. I'm going to have pants on, but topless, because, if you got it, you got to work it.
That's right. I just heard a collective moan from the audience when you said you'd be wearing pants in the photograph.
Moans of ecstasy,
No,
Steve.
disappointment and sadness. I think, the people who come here from OnlyFans, who follow you here from OnlyFans,
Yes.
I think they really would have liked that. But yeah, you're right. We, words, as a person who used to sell words for a living, we are dispensing with words in our culture. Everything is visual now, sound and image, and very little language.
So,
What are you gonna do?
I've got to use my naked body to get common people to stay with us. It's just the way it is. But yeah, you might
It could work. You don't know. Don't say that. It could
There
work.
you go. I'm not sure who'll be coming through the front door, but and you need to tell us a bit about your hat.
Oh,
It's
my
a
hat.
luffy hat.
It's pronounced bouquet. This is a hat. This is a bit of wardrobe that
Pop
I think
culture.
It was here in the store. I didn't wear a straw hat in. The place is decorated with all kinds of popular culture icons: Godzilla, Marvel, DC, rock stars, things like that. Cannabis leaves. And this hat, which is a prop / costume item from a show called One Piece, which is currently on Netflix in a live action iteration.
Really popular.
Yeah, well, it's been on Japanese TV for 30 years. It's on episode 1,349 or something.
The Japanese Simpsons.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And my son and I watched a lot of anime when my son was very young. For a divorced father of a teenage son or a tween son, anime is a blessing. Anime and the Boy Scouts, man, those were the only two tools that I had as a parent. And at any rate, so I saw this prop and I'm watching the show, and surprisingly on Netflix, the live action iteration is pretty good. I didn't like their Cowboy Bebop very much, but this one I'm liking. It's silly, it's goofy, it's fun, it's cartoony, it's nothing heavy at all, and I like it very much. So I saw the hat, and I
Which
thought,
is worn by the lead character called Luffy.
yeah, Luffy D. Monkey.
I was
Luffy D. Monkey.
watching it sort of whilst working last night when it was playing, and sort of I could see that it was good entertainment. I don't know why it's called One Piece. God, they're chasing one piece of
Yes,
of
the
treasure
MacGuffin.
or something.
The MacGuffin. It's the most famous MacGuffin in Japanese culture. A famous pirate has died. This is the preamble to episode 1 of 1,300 and something. A famous pirate dies in this fictional world.
In the opening scene.
Yeah, in the opening scene. And he says, I've buried my lifetime of treasure in a certain place. And y'all should go look for it, because you'll be liberated if you find it. This oppressive police state we live in won't be able to oppress you. And so everybody turns into a pirate. Everybody in this culture becomes a pirate, gets a boat, and sets off to sea. And supposedly he's put his entire treasure into a single item of limitless value. That is the One Piece, and that is the MacGuffin. Everybody is seeking this One Piece, and 1,300 and some episodes
what I'm
later,
worried about.
they have not found it. They still have not found it.
But the people keep coming back, wanting more.
Yeah. Oh, it's hugely popular in Japan. It's what would you be after 30 years? It'd be the third generation now as children, 5, 6, 7-year-olds watching this thing.
We don't have a lot of control over our lighting today, so the lighting is a bit top heavy, I think you'd say, in the cinema world. Yeah, we'll have to sort of sit like this, hide the wrinkles. How's your health, by the way?
Very well.
Am
Thank
I
you
allowed
for
to ask
asking.
you?
Well, you know what? Something funny. I quit smoking on August 12th.
I wasn't going to ask, but how's it going?
I have not had a cigarette since August 12th, which is a better way to put that. To say I've quit smoking implies that I will never have another cigarette, and that is not the case. I know myself well enough to know. I cannot promise or say I will never have another cigarette. In fact, on the 6th, I'm going to go down to Phuket for 3 days to play the Weekend Millionaire, as I do, roughly on the 6th.
Is that a good idea?
Well, it sounds like a great idea because it's an excuse to smoke. It's an excuse to indulge all the vices for just 3 days. And as long as I can keep promising myself those 3 days, I am able to abstain here on Turtle Beach.
Look, I'm going to pretend I'm a counsellor and know something, which I don't. And
I will pretend as well. Go on.
I'm thinking it's not a terribly good idea.
Well, it came from me,
lapse.
so yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. I think as long as I've got that date, the 6th, to look forward to.
But hang
I
on,
can hold
you
off.
could invest that money that you're going to spend in Phuket on your education in the future, on saving up for a rainy day. Go to
Yeah.
Phuket and enjoy yourself.
I could put another bar girl through hairdressing college. Well, it worked so well the first time. Why not do it again?
Oh dear.
Yeah, 75 baht a day though I am saving, and I am conscious of. The girls in the 7-Eleven, I walk in and they reach for the LM Dangs as soon as I walk in, and now they're confused. They don't really know what to do with me when I walk in the door.
I don't know, and I do it
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
So, Steve, we're both in Mueang, which is a very difficult
I'm
word
giving
to
you
say.
one more year to get that right.
well,
That's it. That's all I'm giving you.
I'm sort of making a face when I say it, and as long as I make the face, I think people will know that.
You have to smile. Sala or you have to smile.
You say
when
it.
You say it. Sala So what you're getting wrong really is the
Is
tone.
everything.
No, the vowel. You're saying muang, which they're used to Falang saying that instead of muang, but you're hitting the tone wrong. It's got to be rising tone. Muang. In the middle tone, it means a city or a
That's
civic
why we're calling it
organization.
Turtle Beach.
Yeah. This conversation is why it's
Exactly.
Turtle Beach.
Hence the turtles. So, now I've been here for a couple of months, so you've introduced me to this quaint little town. And of course I'm sort of fascinated or interested in the history. Okay. And as I drive around, one thing is terribly noticeable, that at some stage somebody built a lot of buildings here, of which now, in 2023, I would say half the buildings are, if not unused, derelict and run down, especially along the beach, where I would say, I don't know, 80% of the properties are probably unusable.
No, I don't. No, maybe 25%. Maybe 25%.
Well, somewhere between 25 and 80.
Yeah, and a lot of in our business district, which is these 2 blocks right here, a lot of these shop houses have 2 or 3 people living in them, but nobody doing business. And obviously, they were constructed to be commercial, residential, and sacred space, like all Chinese shop houses. And they are still used as residential and sacred. The family altar is still there. Grandma is still living there. Every now and then, Grandma might put a card table with some rambutan out front and try to sell something. But for the most part, yes, about half of the commercial real estate in Tai Mueang is either not used to its potential or not used at all, boarded up and locked. However, this is Thailand, the kingdom of disused commercial real estate. Phuket's the same way. You look in these shop houses in Phuket, they're all 3 stories high, and at night the top 2 stories are dark. They're always dark. There's nobody living up there. There's a ton. This place is overbuilt. Thailand is massively overbuilt as far as at least commercial real estate goes. But yeah, I think here one thing that we see is that people like Fluke, young people from Tai Mueang, don't tend to stay in Tai Mueang. They go away. And Grandma is left alone in the family shop house with the 100-year-old shrine against the wall. But the children get a college education. They want to go live in Bangkok. They want to live in Tokyo. Kun Fluke has lived in Singapore. He got his master's in Singapore. He's lived in the States. He's lived in China. He's lived all over the place. He speaks 4 languages, I think.
I can
5.
barely handle one.
We
I said I
know.
can barely
We know.
handle one.
Yeah, we know. But at any rate, I think there's that generational thing, and I think you see that all over Thailand. Big houses where Grandpa thought he was going to spend his money to build a big house where his family would live, continue to live generation after generation.
Right.
But no, they don't want to live in a big house in the country. They want to live in a condo in the city. So none of his grandkids are living in this, what he built as a generational dwelling.
So, to raise my quote are a bit closer to the 80%. When I'm saying you couldn't move into them tomorrow and use them. If you wanted to, half the properties along there, you really would have to spend, like I have, a few shekels to get them up to a livable or commercial condition.
If we're going to set the bar there, then I'll go with your 80%. There are homes on the beach road that are being lived in by the people who've lived in there for generations, but Westerners would not live in these homes. The bathroom is a shed out back. There's no east wall. It fell down in a monsoon in 1989. It's never been repaired. So yeah, if by Western standards, certainly by the standards of people who would live on a beach in Thailand, probably 80% are not up to standard. No.
So then I was thinking more, because I think quite a lot, and I was thinking, what happened here? Time Mueang, I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but
Turtle Beach, babe, Turtle Beach.
Tin mining was a part of its history.
Yeah.
A lot of Chinese here in its history.
For a long time.
Chinese traders.
Yes.
Don't look at the pretty girls.
I do what I want.
Yeah, sure.
You're not my dad. You're not my real dad. You're just dating my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Chinese miners, tin miners. I mean, 175 years ago, a ship with 700, I think.
So I'm
Chinese
thinking
men.
This would have been like a thriving little community a couple of hundred years ago. It would have been buzzing.
I think 50 years ago.
Yeah, as recent as 50 years.
Yeah.
And we're sort of seeing the remnants of a lot of the things that were built or the families that moved here at that time.
Yeah.
And it's a little town that, like, you go half an hour north, you're in Khao Lak, which is very busy, very touristy, a lot of upscale 5-star hotels. You go half an hour down the road the other way, and you've got like Natai Beach, where you're paying 50,000 baht to live in a beach house. And you can go a little bit further south to Phuket, and you're paying 80 to 100,000 baht to stay in a beach house. You're not paying that much here, I can tell you.
No.
So somehow Time Mueang has missed. Or people just drove through it and closed their eyes.
Yeah, I think the tourism development hasn't happened here because the beach is unswimmable 6 months out of the year.
Sure.
This beach is not a beach where you could do a jet ski off of. Even though you can swim there, I think, in the calm months, but you probably couldn't like anchor a boat there and do parasailing or anything like that.
It's got a nasty shore break.
Yeah. And it's national park. You cannot build. You literally cannot build on the beach. Even all of these, the 80% of those homes that could be remodeled, like you were talking, nobody knows who owns them. There's no chenotes on beachland. There's what's called right of use. And if you can prove your family's been drying nets there for 50 years, you can stay and use that property. But there's no real chenote it's all Tilong. So I think that has probably hindered development, whereas it did not in Phuket or Khao Lak. That's all Tilong also, but they've built hotels there and everything else.
So, I mean, the other thing, if you get onto the Turtle Beach Road, and you drive about 10 kilometres, you'll come to a dead end.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go anywhere.
You're not on the way to anything here.
That's right.
You have to specifically be coming to Turtle Beach to wind up here. And that's why, Tai Mueang means the end of the line, the end of the mine, the end of the road. That's it. You're at the end. Boop.
And I was fascinated on your YouTube channel, the program yesterday, you were talking about a cinema. You were, and it's a building that I'd seen before. I didn't realise it was in fact an old cinema. And you think there were two old cinemas in the town. Must have been buzzing 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was a market town. I think everybody from all the villages and towns all the way around would come to Tai Mueang and for the hospital, for a dentist to get glasses made, to sell your tin ore, to buy rice, to buy a motorcycle, whatever. The post office was here for the whole Ampo. And I think it was probably a very crucial center of commerce as recently as 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But then, of course, and the cinema industry is facing challenges unconnected to Turtle Beach. There is also a defunct, that way on this street, about 4 doors down, there's a defunct internet cafe. And he's still got all the
What's an
desks in
internet
there.
cafe?
Yeah, what's an internet cafe?
Yeah,
Right now, it's a bicycle repair shop with 20 desks, 20 old CPUs, 20 old monitors, the big fat monitors, 20 mice, 20 mouse pads, all covered with schmutz and grime. And
Who goes there?
Nobody. It's not connected. No, it's just that he can't let go. And well, there's also something I think very Thai about that. Cleaning up, tearing things down is not really the forte. It's
Right.
not building new gets you face. Cleaning or tearing down or maintaining something old.
I must be
doesn't
getting
really.
a lot of face then, because
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of rebuilding.
Well, yeah, and we have that ethic. I think that may not be as prevalent, that ethic in Turtle Beach, but I think he's just waiting for somebody to come and buy his shop house, and in the meantime he's repairing bicycles in there, and when they buy the shop house they'll get it with 20-year-old CPUs and monitors and mouse pads and stuff.
I wonder if they'd start up.
I have no idea. I would doubt it. I mean, I've never even seen electricity on in the shop. Everybody keeps their lights off to save money, I suppose. But all the stores, nobody hangs a sign in front of their store in Turtle Beach, and nobody turns on the lights. If you come in and you're looking at the shelves, they'll turn on the lights.
Having said all that, I mean, it's a delightful little town, lovely people. People are very friendly.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you, Baz Daniel. Thank you for introducing me to this place.
And thank you, Steve Ross, with an E, for introducing me.
You're
And
welcome.
Baz down the track.
100 baht.
Well,
That's what introductions cost.
I'll pay for the coffee, no doubt. So look, that's about all I've got to talk about. I'm basically sick of having to come up with all the topics all the time.
All right.
I'm sick of producing the show. I'm sick of having to go to all this effort and drag all the equipment.
Yeah, I know. Your life's very hard, but
you just turn up.
Listen.
You spend half an hour in makeup, and you come and sit there and just yak for half an hour. And you think
I
you're
know.
contributing.
And I get all the
I'm
fan
sick
mail.
of it.
Go figure. Listen,
You get all the fan
so listen,
mail.
let me ask you questions this time. All right?
Okay,
All right?
I'm not sure if I'm looking
I'll
forward
ask
to
you
this.
questions now. The first question is, why do you work so goddamn hard? Honest to God, this is I know you. He's not joking when he says he's tired from producing the show and painting a house and driving back and forth between Phuket and Turtle Beach. He's not lying.
And writing 5 media stories each day.
My media stories. Since I've known you, you haven't sat down. Why?
Well,
Dude, you live on the beach in paradise.
I will soon. But I tell you what, as you start painting the walls in one of these old buildings, it's a never-ending story. There's always another wall to paint.
Yeah. Well, and you keep finding buildings.
Yes.
You know.
And I mean, I suppose I've got my father's ambition and my mother's work ethic, and put them together, and it's just dynamite. The thing is, once you're 64, it's a bit hard to live up to the expectation. There's only one person causing this expectation, and that's me. But I realised the last 3 or 4 weeks that I just can't quite work 18 hours a day anymore.
Let me be your relaxation coach.
I'm not sure if
Right?
that's a good idea.
If there's one thing I can teach, it's how to let go.
But I think it's also a thing, if people are looking to retire, that one thing that I think was a problem in the past, when people would be working all their life and they're slaving away and they're saving up and they do the trip for 6 months after they finish work, and then they go, what am I going to do? And then they sort of fall off the cliff and die.
Yeah.
So these days, people are living way past that retirement age. So you do have to save up more money.
Knock on 100-year-old wood.
And you got to sort of think to yourself, well, what am I going to do? So maybe I'm slightly overcompensating.
You have too many hobbies. If that's what it is, if that's your thinking, this is what you're doing in your old age to avoid the boredom of the shuffleboard court, then you these are hobbies, and you need to.
I don't want to play croquet. I don't want to play golf.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. But
It's
right
a lovely
now,
golf course, by the way.
what you're replacing croquet and golf with is a lot of work and a fair amount of expense, and I would urge you, and I think Turtle Beach will do that to you. I think this place doesn't allow you. น้องครับ ขอนำเต้า2 แก้วได้ไหม Thank you. This place won't allow you, I think, to keep up this frenetic hurdy-gurdy of activity.
Well, I think I had a couple of jobs, and then I sort of added this hotel project on top of it, and then the renovation here in Turtle Beach is just a sort of a remnant of that. But I'm coming to sort of an end because we're going to be opening up in the next month or so. I've got a month where friends, freeloaders, are going to be coming to stay.
I've got a place to stay. Okay, not yet. When he starts talking about dinner parties, yeah, freeloader here.
Oh, you'd be a good dinner
Bing
party
bong.
guest.
I always come half an hour early.
Steve, tell us about February the 20th. And off you go for half an hour.
Listen, let me tell you a story.
Yeah, exactly. Do we only get one song? I can only carry one. You can have this one.
He's very slight. You notice he's a wispy
Yes.
willow of a man.
Thank you very much, Carp.
Oh, you know, there was a click. We were talking about me quitting smoking, and the fact that I haven't thrown any furniture at Chaminade yet this time. It's been 3 weeks and without a smoke. And for me, that's amazing.
I love the way he walks through your front door with a safety helmet.
He walks through with a smile every single day, no matter what mood I'm in. Who was up on his house because last night the wind blew a tile.
It was a gale came
shingle.
through.
Yeah, I threw a shingle off my roof, and rain was coming in my house. And Chaminade got up there with his buddy, and he put a new shingle on my roof today in more driving rain. He's standing on the top rung of a wispy aluminum ladder, and they're zzz, 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 bang, 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 and they're repairing my house in
This
the middle
young
of a
gentleman won't be
thunderstorm.
getting up on that ladder, I don't think.
No. Well, this is a millennial coffee shop, and those two fellas up on my roof probably never went past the 3rd grade. So there you go. But at any rate, my eustachian tube has remained clear for 3 weeks until doing this show. It hasn't gone click. I haven't had any problem with the tube, and I thought, okay, well, the smoking inflaming the sinuses, and it's, yeah. But today, all of a sudden now, and I think now it has something to do with speech, pressured speech, and that
I've
was
got a
the
great
click.
solution.
What's that?
Don't say anything.
Okay, you invited me.
So Steve's just going to sit there and look pretty for the next half hour.
You keep setting the bar way too high.
Try harder.
I
Try
can't meet
harder.
these standards. Right here.
A lot of young people come here, mate. A lot of photos.
Am I pretty yet? Oh, yeah. There are 6 selfie corners in this coffee shop. The whole thing is about as big as a boxcar, and there are 6 selfie spots.
I'm
and
going
the
to have to
place
put
is
selfie spots in
full.
my...
Yes, you are. Anything, whatever. I mean,
the
a
wall.
bicycle repair shop, you need to have selfie spots now. But this place, I'll tell you what, Kuhn Fluke is no dummy. This guy is a smart marketer, and this place is packed all the time. It's Saturday, so there's extra people here. But the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the place is elbow to elbow. And even during the week, on a weekday, you've got well-dressed, well-mannered, well-smelling young Thai professionals in here buying coffee and taking selfies. And he's brilliant. He's just brilliant.
So you just need a few more of these young folk from Turtle Beach families sticking around and coming up with a new business.
Well,
And
I told you, right?
Suddenly...
Yeah, well, the rebirth, the renaissance, all the culture that's fleeing San Francisco will come here. Across the street, there's a boat noodle shop that makes great noodles, but more importantly, the vibe, the ambiance is like a lesbian street fair. It's very new, very hip. A lot of tattoos, a lot of piercings, a lot of various colored hair.
A lot of couples that go to IKEA.
Selling what is no doubt one of their grandmother's 100-year-old guitio recipes. And that place also is full all the time.
I loved the noodle shop you took me to once. It was a vegetarian noodle shop that served noodles and pork.
Yeah, well, the noodles are vegan, but you can have... Oh, sorry. Don't touch. The noodles are vegan, but you can have them with chicken or pork.
Okay.
Welcome to Turtle Beach.
Anyway, that's the first question.
I've got another question for you.
Okay.
And this is a serious question. I watch your show every day.
Oh, God.
I also comment from
You've been
time to
talking to
time, and
Clive.
you never, ever respond to my comments.
You have not
I commented this morning that Pibun Songkram, you were talking about, can somebody be Prime Minister of Thailand after serving a jail sentence abroad? Pibun Songkram, who was Prime Minister of this place longer than anybody since the revolution, was prosecuted for war crimes at the end of World War II. And the Americans expected him to be executed. They wanted him to be executed. Instead, they re-elected him as Prime Minister for a second term.
Great solution.
Yeah, and eventually he left in a robin's egg blue Camaro with two suitcases full of $100 bills in the back. That's how Pibun Songkram, the architect of the revolution, left this country and went into exile in Japan. My question for you, in your show, you use the collective pronoun we. You talk about yourself as if you are several people. Is that conscious? Is that a leftover from many years working in corporate media where it was always we, the organization, or are you putting on a show?
Well, it's my multiple personalities, I think.
Can I talk to Sybil now?
Yes. Yeah, few people have picked me up on that. I think it's partly because I've sort of fallen into this job. I mean, I'm not a professional as such, so I tend to drag old bad habits along with me, and people pick me up. So when people ask me this, I usually say it's me and the cats.
Okay.
But I mean, there's usually somebody in the background who is making a coffee or getting breakfast or something. So to do the program, it's not just the editing and the camera and the research and the marking up the stories. There's other things that have to be done too.
Sitting out of frame, licking your butt, if you're a cat.
Yes,
that's what they bring to the table.
Me.
That's all they bring to the table.
Yes, usually on the table.
Yeah.
But no, it's not a royal we. It's just a sort of a general we. But no, really, the program is I. I do the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing, and you should own that because you deserve a pat on the back for that. I struggle with all the technical stuff on my channel. People have stopped commenting on my channel. The first few videos, people said, "God, who's editing this crap? Who's shooting this crap?" There's a thing called the tripod. You don't have to hold it in your palsied hand, Grandpa. And they've stopped. They've just stopped commenting because that's just what people expect from Steve Ross now. And you do everything clean, smooth, gorgeous, in focus.
Well, I mean, I do it every day, so you sort of do get a little bit better at it as you go. But I also make the program necessarily simple, so I can repeat it each day. But the reason for doing it myself is I keep the show simple because once you start relying on a second person, any second person or staff, you're going to be disappointed at some stage.
I'm trying hard not to be hurt right now. These words are very hurtful. Words have consequences.
Somebody's not going to turn up one day and suddenly you're caught out. So I've designed that morning program just to be something I can do very easily every day for us.
Well, I think
the royal we.
You know, I've spent 35 years studying the history of this country, but I cannot tell you, well, Srita. I struggle with the current Prime Minister. I struggle with the current situation, and you have your finger on the pulse of that.
Very storm coming through.
Yeah. What do you know? A monsoon on the Andaman coast of Thailand in September.
You were saying
who'd have thunk it? On
your program yesterday.
My God, it's like it's the Miss Teen USA pageant in here. Holy crap!
Oh, she's bending over. So
mine.
What was I going to say? You mentioned yesterday that you said you made a claim that I was going to check, and I haven't had a chance yet.
Steve got it wrong.
No, I don't know. What? Might be right, but you said Phang is the wettest province in Thailand out of 77 provinces.
Ranong Phang. Ranong Phang get the same amount of rain. They get the same rain. They're right next to each other. So every year, one or the other will be counted as number one, but the difference is a quarter of an inch or a half an inch each year. So it's like Hertz and Avis. Each year, One's number one, the other. But Hertz's slogan has always been, "We're number two. We try harder," even in years where they were number one, because there is no truth in advertising. And what's Avis going to do? Call them out and say, "No, no, no! You guys were number one last year." No. So for 40 years, their slogan has been, "We're number two, so we try harder." Yeah.
Works well.
There you go. I digress.
So I am going to Google that later, just in case it needs to go in the Steve got it wrong category. But you might be right. Mind you, it hasn't rained a lot in the monsoon season this year, generally.
No.
I mean, we had that 2-3 week stretch of just beautiful days every day.
Yeah, it's been very, very weird.
Because I do the weather every morning, pointing at the laptop I use. We do the weather every morning. Me and the computer. There it is. That's another we. Me and the computer.
All right, yeah.
Without that laptop, I'd be completely lost. Heavens knows how you do a program like I do every day as quickly as I do it without this sort of technology these days.
Yeah.
It would be impossible. You'd be sort of cutting things out of the newspaper and putting them on a board and sort of getting the highlighter pen and pointing.
And thumbtacks and red thread.
Yes. Looked like a serial killer's den. Mm-hmm. All right, good.
All right. I have another question.
Okay.
I have recommended books on this show. Do you have any favorite books about Thailand? I've published 5.
Well, apart from those 5 books, which are number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
See, this is Mr. Showbiz right here.
Number 6, I don't really have. I mean, I've got that book that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. Very Thai. I love
Cornwell
that book.
Smith.
And the other book I love is, which is not necessarily about Thailand, but it sort of is about Thailand, which is called Fake Tan, spelled Phaic-Tan.
Okay.
Fake Tan, which is it's a sort of a mock Lonely Planet about Thailand, but it's just very, very, very funny.
You should loan that to me.
I'll lend you Fake Tan.
Loan that to me. Yeah.
Very, very funny. But beyond that, I mean, I'm not into fiction or novels generally, so I haven't read, apart from your 6 very fine books available at Amazon and fine stores everywhere.
No, only Amazon. Because that's the world we live in now, only Amazon. Yeah. Used to be books. You remember when you used to get off the airplane and you'd go right to the bookstore?
Really?
And you didn't do that?
No.
Oh. Well, yeah, everywhere I went, first thing I did when I got there is go buy a book about that place in the bookstore at the airport.
The book that had probably the most, there's 2 books that have had a profound effect on my lifestyle. Probably not even slightly interesting. Yes, that's The Rain. I'm just thinking about my friend painting the front of the house at the moment.
Fa Panga Sao Phuket.
Yeah. Was the 4-hour work week? Or the 6-hour work week? I can't remember now. It was something, but it was about completely rearranging the way you work to only work for 4 hours a week and have a lifestyle. So I thought, well, I mean, that's what the book's trying to do, isn't it? Trying to get you to go, oh, I'm going to buy that. So that was something I bought at Singapore airport and read from Changi flying back to Australia, probably 2008. So I decided, on the advice of this book, to stop working for the man and go out and do something for myself. I mean, I've been working for myself in the past, and come up with a lifestyle which would be working for me when I wasn't actually physically working. That's the idea of the book. So the idea was find something you can sell online, flog it, work it for a couple of months, and then just let it be churning away in the background whilst you're drinking martinis.
Yeah. Sitting on the beach in Cancun collecting 13%. Isn't that the line from Die Hard?
Picking up old cigarette lighters.
Yeah.
No one's asked to take a photo of us yet, if you noticed.
No, there's a lot of photography going on and nobody has pointed their cameras in this direction.
Yeah.
No.
We're YouTube stars. They don't care.
They don't care. Me too, Siang.
So it was the 4-hour work week by Tim Ferriss, which did really change my life, and it well written, lots of anecdotes, and he changed his life, and I thought, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So I literally changed my life built around this book.
Wow.
And it sort of continues today.
You should write him a letter and let him know. Honest to God, authors would love to hear if their books touched people in any way. I think you should let him know.
So hence the irony. I was going for the 4-hour work week, and now I've never worked harder in my life.
Yeah.
So
You screwed up. Don't tell him that.
No.
No, if you write him a letter,
Tim, you changed my life for the worst.
Yeah.
And the other
dumb.
book that had a big change in my life, and I suppose this is when you're sort of a bit younger, maybe we're still doing it as we're getting older, but when you're searching for that meaning of life, they are the noisiest coasters in the world. When you're searching for, you're sort of going through the shopping around for a religion, when you're sort of, what's all this about?
Asking the big questions.
Yeah, why 42? And all those sort of questions. And I read a book called The Tao of Pooh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was,
I remember the title, yeah.
Was a book that used the characters from A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh, which has recently come out of copyright, by the way. 1922 was written. And it was used to explain the principles of Taoism, which is one of the Chinese philosophies, Chinese ways of life.
Yeah.
And that did a lot to change my life as well. Because I've known that I've been pretty much a sort of A-type personality and wanting to get in and change things. And
Yes.
so what I did is that told me the principle of, rather than flowing down the stream, and when you come to a rock, you try and go through the rock or over the rock, do what Pooh does, and just come to it and just gently go around the rock and keep on going. And so that simple idea has resonated the last 20 or so years of my life, and I think I've been a little bit easier to get along with. And here I am, never working harder in my life.
Punching through rocks.
Still punching through rocks.
Yeah, he's punching through rocks. Yeah, books, they're very powerful.
The intention was there. So those two books, I think, just off the top of my head.
Okay.
I've enjoyed a lot of other books, but those books actually did change my life. They're not complicated books. A book I really loved recently was Christopher Hitchens' autobiography called Hitch 23, Hitch 22, set up a Catch 22. So I really enjoyed Hitch. Do you know Christopher Hitchens?
I know him in an atheist
He's sort of a famous atheist.
context, yeah.
Got our special guest dropped in to join the show. Some
Well,
people
the place
sitting
is
at our
crowded
table.
on a Saturday. There's
Sure,
nowhere else to
sure.
sit.
And Mr. Wang is wondering what the hell we're doing.
Well, I hope not. I hope Mr. Anyway,
His wife is
Anyway.
beautifully dressed.
yes. Well, it's a weekend.
Sort of a satin floral frock
I'm
with
beautifully dressed from the
a pair of
waist up.
fake pearls.
You know, I've decided I'm going to buy some new shirts. I've been blessed, if I may throw this in, with people sending me donations
Yes.
through PayPal recently, quite a bit. And I've been wondering what to do with the money because I'm doing fine. Well, I may buy you some bit of nice decor. Oh, actually, I want to offer you a chair. I have a chair I'm not using. That's
I'm
kind of
looking
a
forward to my
beach-looking
Nautilus
chair.
shell.
Yes,
with
it's
boots
ready
written on
whenever
it.
you want it.
Can I tell Mum not to touch the table?
No, you can't. Now I've forgotten what I was talking
Talking about chairs, donations.
Oh, I'm going to buy some new shirts. People are sending me money. People are complaining about my shirts. I've put these two ideas together and come up with the idea of going shopping and buying some shirts.
Okay. So I've actually bought...
He and I have the same tailor.
Yes,
we have
I
the
think
same
so.
shirt.
I'll get a photo of him before we go. I'll get a photo with him.
Wait, how
even
many
better.
minutes is this? Because we're taking up. These people don't have anywhere to sit. How many minutes is it? Can you tell?
43 minutes.
Well,
It's almost time to go.
Yeah, we're going to need to free up chairs. There are literally no other chairs.
Oh no, they just found some chairs there. So it's a sort of a local couple have come for a cup of coffee today, and
They probably speak English.
And they take a photo with your camera. Oh, and that the bump is courtesy of the people who've just come to visit us. But we'll put the photo up so you can see. beautifully dressed, ready for a great day. So, yes, I've just bought some shirts too. I used to tell people that since I left my past job, that I'm not going to wear the flowery shirts anymore. But I have erred, and they're very over the top, these shirts I just bought. So you're going to have new shirts. I'm going to have new shirts. Wow.
Yeah.
Is the internet ready?
I was thinking of going more conservative. So you can handle the brightness, and I'll just wear a nice white shirt. Because people, whenever I express my taste on these shows, people complain about it.
So what shirts are you going to get? Just plain coloured?
Oh, I haven't thought that far yet. I'm going to do my weekend in Phuket.
Which shop are you going to?
Well, I usually go to the outlet mall. Right? Why not? It's dirt cheap, and they have farang sizes. Everywhere else you go, you got to try stuff on, because a 3X is never 3X, a 2X is never 2X. So I go to the outlet mall. You can trust the sizes there, and it's dirt cheap.
Is it the one, the outlet, premium outlet?
I didn't know there was more than one. It's the outlet mall. I tell a tuk-tuk driver, outlet, and he takes me there.
He might take you to the sewer farm.
There's never anybody else there. I mean, it's like, 30 shops, 40
that's
shops?
That's the premium outlet. Oh,
yeah,
dear.
and there's never anybody there. It's
what about
the
like
mall of
H&M
the
or something?
dam.
It's good, like H&M's just solid clothes.
Where is that?
It's in Central Festival.
Central, okay.
Right, you're getting distracted.
Well, I think we're taking up too much real estate. The guy's trying to sell coffee here, and we got the whole big table.
Right. So we'll wrap it up.
Is 43 minutes not enough? We'll do cutaways. We'll go take Instagram selfies, all right? I feel like we're over, what I want to say, wearing out our welcome.
So we're going to say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you for your attention. I love you guys.
We're going to put a series of photos now of the Instagram locations at Makai. Makai. But thank you for joining Grumpy Old Men. Steve's got his own YouTube channel. Steve Ross, there's a link down below. Just click on that, that's easy. And subscribe to my channel. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Love you guys. Goodbye.